So we don't have another late night episode for you this week.
Well,
So that's good.
it's still late at night, if you know what I mean.
No, I don't think they know what you mean.
Well, I mean that the sun is not up in the sky and it's pitch black outside. You know,
Fair. Fair enough.
if you're
Fair
not
enough.
in a city
Yeah.
where there's a bunch of lights, I guess.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Or depending on whenever you listen to this in your region, it may or may not be light outside.
I
Whatever.
thought we agreed to never talk about your region.
Did we? I don't remember this.
I was pretty sure we did. Pretty sure we was like, we're
Well,
not gonna talk about listening to R&R in your region.
well, if we did do that, then too late. I already broke it. What I do?
Man, I'm never
I'm
telling
running.
you a secret.
Whole committee is running wild, brother.
Yeah.
What you gonna do, bro? All right, we're not doing that. Yeah, let's go ahead and start the show, shall we? Hello, and welcome to episode 26 of the R&R Gaming Podcast. We are a part of the Joystick Entertainment Network. I'm your host, Byron Reed, and alongside me is my co-host.
Ken Russi.
We had another week, another episode, another show.
The
How you doing,
season
man?
finale.
Season finale of season 1 of the R&R Gaming Podcast. We'll get more into that later on once we finish with the show for this evening. But you know what else is great?
What's that?
2017 for gaming. It was a good year.
Yeah.
You like that segue? Yeah, that was pretty
Sure.
good. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tonight we're going to talk about our top 10 list of games for 2017. This is our list, not a definitive list. Your list may and will be different than ours. We did this sort of like we did it last year. We took our own games and combined them together, and we did a bit of Metacritic ratings to determine like which game gets which spot. I guess you can go into further detail about that, Ken, before we actually get into our list for this year.
Byron
Some
didn't
page
play
of it.
enough games this year.
Yeah, I did. Right. Yeah, it's long and short of it.
If it didn't rhyme with Destiny and Overwatch, he didn't play
It's
it.
not entirely true. How dare you?
I'm kidding. I'm teasing. I'm sorry. I guess what I ate for dinner must have filled me full of the teases.
It's got you riled up, man. You're on fire tonight.
Yeah, but no. So what we did was we took my top 5 games and Byron's top 5 games because they, believe it or not, were completely different. And we decided to combine them, kind of like when you shuffle a deck of cards and you just, like flop them in through.
Yeah.
And
You did the whole
so,
bridge thing with whatever.
yeah, I don't know who you're talking about now.
Yeah.
But anyways, and so in order to determine like which my number one game and his number one game, which one was 1 and which one was 2, we used Metacritic to decide that. So if it had a better Metacritic, then it was higher on the list, and if it had the worst Metacritic, then it was lower on the list. But we didn't go and make it that the top games with Metacritic were the top games. No, it was just deciding which place, again, like if my second place game and his second place game would be the third and fourth place game, deciding which one went in which spot.
Right. Exactly. And I think it makes for an interesting dilemma in terms of how you do the list that way, because it could have been, oh, my game's better than yours, or whatever, and it could have just been hearsay. But no.
Pretty much. So I guess we're letting the media tell us which games are great, which, but we're putting the games in the list. So
Right. Yeah, we're putting the games on the list. We're just doing it in a different way, I guess.
Yes, completely unique.
Yeah, I think so
Registered
anyway.
trademark of the R&R Gaming Podcast.
Yeah. So let's jump in. Number 10.
And at that spot is Picross S, which is a Picross game for the Nintendo Switch. And as you may have guessed, in fact, I think I talked about this in one of our earlier podcasts, so feel free to listen to the past if you want a complete and in-depth telling of the Picross. But it was a great little puzzle game that I enjoyed. And it was on the Switch, so I could take it with me and play it on the go. And anyone that likes a good Sudoku puzzle or anything similar to that, I think they would enjoy this as well. And that's why I put it on my number 10 spot, just because I got a lot of use out of it, even though, if I will say, it is technically flawed because they double up on the puzzles, as I think I said before. Do you remember that?
I believe you did mention that, yes.
Yeah, because there's something like 300 puzzles, but there's really only 150 puzzles. They just break them up into how you solve them between a Picross and a Mega Picross, and they change the, if you will, orientation of what puzzles are in what spot.
Yeah, I've never played a Picross game, so I cannot speak to that, but you would know more about that than I would, obviously.
But no, I mean, it's a good fun time. It's a cheap, something that you can just play while you're waiting. It's not anything that needs a lot of detail. You don't need to, it doesn't need to have your attention at all, because you can just play it and pause it and whatever and go about your day.
Yeah, very true, very true. What Picross is number 10? So,
Number 9.
yes, number 9 is MLB The Show 17. It was another good year for the show series. They always deliver a good baseball game, in my opinion, and really the only one you can get that is simulation style now, because of everything that's been happening over the past couple of years with baseball games and everything. But it's still the best out there. They made a change to Road to the Show this year, which got me more involved with the mode itself. They added a story element to it, so to speak, nothing too intrusive. Like the NBA 2K series, it's really minor and minuscule, and it's presented in a documentary style fashion. So it's your player will go do certain things, and you'll hear the announcer, the narrator, say something like, oh, the player meets with his hitting coach to talk about his hot streak or whatever, and just little things like that, and you get to see your player do different things, and it helps, for me anyway, to give some sort of depth to the mode, because for me, the text-based and all the other stuff, the immersion is there, but it's not all the way there, if that makes sense. So having that kind of stuff adds to the immersion of being an MLB player and going through the ups and downs of your rookie season, and even going on, because the cutscenes don't end once your first season is finished. So that's nice.
Right. So now, as someone that hasn't played it, does it continue to have that where your character from the last game is continued on?
Yes, you could do that. You could carry over your character from 16 to 17, but because this was a new thing they implemented this year, there were things that you may have missed out on as far as cutscenes go if you did that. I personally, I don't know how that impacted you because I didn't carry my character over. I usually never carry my character over. I don't mind starting over every year because I like seeing where my character will go for that season and into the future, depending on how far I get into it.
Okay.
Because this year, for example, my character got drafted by the Twins, and in the first round, after going back to school, I went back to a 4-year university, and then we got drafted to the Twins in the first round. I've been improving my stock in the trial games, and then got called up got caught up at towards the end of the season. We're almost done the first season, but
Mm-hmm.
it's the journey in itself is always fun for me. So I like doing that journey year in and year out of going through the AA to AAA, or even skipping AAA altogether and going to the majors. So
Right.
I think this year I skipped. I think I skipped AAA this year and went right to the majors, if I remember right.
Hmm.
So it's always fun for me year in and year out doing that. So I don't mind doing that.
Okay. Um,
So the number 8
well,
game
I
on the
was gonna
list.
say
Oh, go
interesting
ahead.
and
Yeah.
spoiler worthy. Is that MLB The Show is the only sports game on this list.
That's right. Yeah. Yep. It is, which is surprising, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe not for most of you.
Right.
And if you've been listening long enough, you kind of gather that, I guess.
Right. Well, the other
But
sports games we played just didn't do enough different this year to really earn a place
yeah,
in the
that
top
too.
10. That's kind of what I
That
felt.
too. Yeah. No, I totally agree with you 100%. Didn't do enough to earn a spot. And there was another game that I had on my list, on my own personal list, that didn't make it into this list because it didn't do enough to make it on this list.
Right.
But we'll get there.
Yep. So, yeah. So, moving on to number 8, and that's For Honor.
We
And
both played this one a little bit. You more so than me, but
yeah, well, I kind of thought that this was going to be our next Destiny. And so I thought that we'd maybe play it a lot more. And sadly, I don't think I've touched it since May. Like I think I
hmm
tried to get back in season 2 when they started it up, and it was just really hard to get into it. I played like a game or two, and I was like, yeah. Um, but no, when I first played it though, I did have a lot of fun. Obviously, playing with friends would have enhanced that experience, but it was still a really fun game, and um, I like to think that it's a more unique title
yeah,
with its, uh, I guess, tacking and defending, and depending on where you move your sword or shield or whatever, and how you block. Um,
right.
and that's really what I think helped get this on the list, is because I really enjoyed the fighting system that they have,
Yeah.
and not so much that I didn't get to play with any friends. I'm looking at you, Jose and Noah. Uh,
Yeah, you guys.
yeah,
You guys, what happened?
yeah. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know where to go from here. I mean, it was a fun game. I played it, I enjoyed it. Good graphics. Story mode was kind of donkey. Like they got at the end of like, should we add a story mode? We should probably add a story mode.
I think it's going to pick up steam. Uh, I think it'll be like Siege did, where it'll start off slow and it'll pick up steam and then it'll really get going.
hmm
So at least I'm
Yeah.
hoping that's what's gonna happen.
Well,
'Cause, when I
yeah.
played the beta and everything they had, I enjoyed it as well. Um, I didn't like the fact that most people didn't seem to respect the glorious one-on-one combat, and people would come in and get in the way of your one-on-one.
Oh yeah,
But
I know.
it is what it is.
You're trying to
But I
attack
enjoyed the
somebody
game.
and then you get stabbed in the back from some punk.
Yeah,
But I mean, there's an achievement to get if you survive that.
true.
But
Very true.
no, and I know that I think the servers had some major problems when it first came out.
Mm,
Like they started slow and then it picked up a lot, and I think the servers was not ready for that, and so it kind of
right.
suffered, and so there was several times that I'd play and I'd get kicked out of the match.
Yeah, it's very true. Very true. But
hmm
we'll see what happens for Honor as the game continues
Right.
into 2018. So
So,
number 7
7.
on the list, yeah, number 7 on the list is Injustice 2, another fighting game in back to back. So that's interesting.
Hmm.
I really enjoy this game. I'm enjoying it a lot more than what I was before. The the I do wish that they had a tower mode, akin to Mortal Kombat's like tower that you do,
Yeah.
where you can go through with each of the different characters and they have their own separate like ending cutscene or whatever. I like doing that with each of the characters getting to learn their abilities and things of that nature. But they have this multiverse mode, which is really cool because you can go in and you can pick a character, and there's these different worlds, and there's different challenges in each of the worlds. There are different difficulties based on the level or whatever, and all the loot that is for each character is really really cool, and it changes the way your character looks and the way that they play. So I mean, there's an incentive there to go and grind your favorite character and get the loot drops and everything,
Right.
which come in the form of mother boxes. Excuse me.
Earth's defense
But
Mother
is
boxes?
irreversibly compromised.
yeah, the mother
Begin
boxes. It's they're not mother boxes. Mother boxes, brother box, whatever it is. Because Batman has his like brother eye thing. Big brother can sort of see everything, basically. Um, But yeah, it's integrated into that. Different styles of loot boxes. Anyway, the fighting is what really matters. The fighting itself's really, really good. I enjoy it. I'm a fan of the fighting style that NetherRealm does. Not a fan of the holding back to block, but I understand that's common in fighting games, so it is what it is in that respect.
Right. So you'd rather have a button when you're blocking?
I would rather have a button when I'm blocking, yeah, because for me anyway, I'm not good enough to anticipate that someone's going to teleport behind me, and I'm holding back to block. They teleport, so I'm not holding back to block anymore. I'm holding forward. I'm getting hit. So that's just something that would come with time, obviously. But they're continuing to support the game. They've got so many different characters in there now. DLC characters. They've got Adam. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are
Saw
coming.
that.
They've got Raiden. They've got Scorpion and Sub-Zero. They've got Manta. I'm going Black Mamba. That's not it. That's Kobe Bryant. Wrong person. Yeah,
If they put Kobe Bryant in the game, I might actually buy it.
Do it, NetherRealm.
Just so I
No,
could
but-
beat the snot out of him.
But no, I'm enjoying Injustice 2. I'm gonna keep playing it into 2018. That's the plan, anyway.
Well, with the whole loot system, you will be.
No, yeah, you know what? You're right. You're right, because I love me some loot. Cosmetic loot, I love it.
Yep.
So, I guess yeah, number six.
Number six.
Number six on the list is Ark Survival Evolved. I don't know if you played this when it was in preview, Ken,
did.
or since it actually released.
I have.
Okay, yeah, because it was in preview for a few years over on Xbox, and then it
Yeah.
released
Yeah,
on Xbox in the
I
summer.
actually I bought the preview and I played with you guys for a little bit, but then we stopped.
Yeah, we did. We did stop.
And yeah, I was actually showing my brother the game because he's getting stuff. I guess I shouldn't say things because the walls have ears, but
right.
but I was showing
Or in case
him.
nobody listens.
Yeah, but I was showing him. Excuse me, damn. But I was showing him the Ark game, and it had, other than my world, it had completely changed, and I don't know if it was something I did, but there was
Right.
no monsters, no enemies, nothing. I couldn't find nothing to kill, and so my guy was like starting to starve, and I'm like, I wondered if this is because it's updated a whole bunch since I last played, and so there's no monsters or dinosaurs or nothing
Yeah.
because of this. Because I showed him like a half an hour. Like I walked all the way from the edge of the map to the center space ghost thingy tower thing.
Right.
No enemies whatsoever.
Huh, that is kind of weird. I personally, I really enjoy that game. It's so much fun. So much fun. I love going around with my friends and taming the dinosaurs and just making all the different buildings and all the other stuff. It's a really fun time, and for a game that doesn't have a whole lot of story, so to speak, in terms of your normal conventional storytelling means, I got hooked on the fact that hey, we're on this island and there's these three giant towers of different colors. Why? What's going on? Why are we here? I really
Mm-hmm.
want to know. So that's what sort of sucked me into the whole thing. And really, you can sort of create your own story with your own group as you go along. I remember, this was a few months ago, really. Me and a group of friends were playing. We met up with a group of people. We joined in with them, and we all went and out on adventures and did different things. And then we met up with another group, and oh no, sorry, the group that we were with kicked us out for some reason. I don't remember why, but
Yeah.
we logged on one day. All our stuff was gone.
Well,
We all tamed dinos together,
yeah,
and
I think
we
you
all
had
just
uh, invited them in or accepted them into the clan. They stole all your
Mhm.
stuff and then left the clan.
Yeah. So now, yeah. So we were clanless basically. It was just a group of us, and then we met up with another group of people. Joined in with them. They showed us. They took us to their base, which is waterfall.
hmm
And went black. I'm back. Okay, so they took us into their basement behind the waterfall. They had a T-Rex. They had all this. It had a real nice setup. And then we logged back on. I don't remember when, but it was a few days after, I guess. And same deal. We were unceremoniously kicked out. So now we have to build up our stuff
Mm.
again, which I mean, it's fine. Like I said, I still enjoy playing the game, so I don't mind it at all.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
It is what it is, man.
Yep. But yeah,
One of those kill be kill situations, I guess. But that was number six.
all right. So number 5, and that's Leighton's Mystery Journey, Catriel and the Millionaire's Conspiracy.
Mm.
Um, yeah, so I talked about this recently, and I've talked about my love for the Leighton games in general. In fact, I think I like a lot of puzzlers. I think it just depends on the puzzle, but um,
True.
I mean, I guess there's 2 puzzle games on the list, so I have to like some sort of puzzles, something, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. So, and I will say that this isn't as good as the previous Leighton games that I've played. And mostly it comes down to the story just being more, just not as good. Like the whole premise of the story starts out where, as Catriel, you just set up shop for a detective agency, and your first client is a talking dog. And then the inspector shows up, and you don't even concern yourself with the dog's problem that he needs solved. You just go off to solve the mystery that the inspector has for you.
I certainly didn't ask
Huh.
a young
And so it's
parvenu
little
blood
things
will
like
that.
that. Like, and then the lady, Catriel, she can eat everything and anything and never gets fat.
Allow me to clarify.
And it's
I will solve
like,
this case in my
it's
father's
kind of
stead.
tongue-in-cheek, I guess, is the best way to explain it. And I didn't really appreciate that coming from the other Leighton series, where although they have, if you will, unbelievable stuff like the boy that can talk with every animal, it still felt like it was grounded,
The clock.
and like they
Must have
didn't
been an
do
enormous
stuff that
wafer.
was uncharacteristic, I guess.
Well, traces
Yeah.
of a substance that
And
could be
this,
wafer were found at the base
it
of the
feels
clock tower.
kind of,
Got it.
the story
Think
isn't as
first,
good.
Inspector.
Like they go
There's
to a
something more
theater,
important than
and the
identifying
way
culprit.
the assistant gets her to go to the theater is because they have this new flavored popcorn.
Who did it's far more important than who done it.
Because she doesn't care about the movie, she just wants the popcorn.
Jeez,
So,
Rise, put it down.
yeah, so it's a little disappointing on that end, but still really good as far as the puzzles go and being able to solve the mysteries. So I would definitely say if you like the other Laytons, though, you should give this a try. And if you don't like the other Laytons, you should give this a try.
because it's something different from the other Laytons.
Yeah, like I mean, as long as you thought the puzzles were cool, but maybe you thought the story didn't suit your taste, maybe this story will suit your taste better.
Makes sense. Makes sense. I've always thought that the Professor Layton games were sort of similar to the Phoenix Wright games, but that's only because I've never really played any of them. But isn't Layton also a detective?
No.
Oh.
So what?
Okay, I don't know why I
Professor
was
Layton
Going on here behind
is a
the scenes?
professor.
Is that what you're saying, Cat?
And,
No, I'm doing that for me, not for you.
yeah, I know. But no, Professor Layton, his character is more modeled after Indiana Jones. If you,
Oh, okay, yeah.
you know, he's like a professor of archaeology or whatever,
Nobody calls me that.
Gotcha. Okay.
and he's really smart and he loves puzzles. I mean, the first game actually takes place because a friend of his sends him a letter about a puzzle needing to be solved, and so he goes out to this town or this curious village, if you will, to solve the puzzle that his friend sent him.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So it's not like Phoenix, right? Okay.
Yeah, no. Well, even Phoenix Wright isn't a detective; he's a lawyer.
Yeah, but he's still like putting stuff together and all that stuff. But yeah.
Well, yes, he has to detect stuff, and obviously, the cops aren't very smart in Phoenix Wright's world because he has to solve all the mysteries. But yeah, all those great games.
Fair enough.
But
Fair
yeah,
enough.
we can move along to number 4.
Number 4 on the list is Destiny 2, and some of you may be surprised to see it's this high on the list because of everything that's been going on with Bungie and the game itself. But at the same time, some of you may also not be surprised to see it's high on the list because of how often I talk about it on the podcast. You all know how much I love Destiny, but that does not mean that I will defend them and say that everything they do is great. You've seen it over the past few weeks, where I've kind of ripped into them a little bit, and I've stated my contempt of the game. Anyway, I'm still enjoying Destiny 2, guys. You can joke all you want about it being Destiny and whatever. That's simply not the case. It's getting better with the Crucible Cyrus DLC, and if you remember correctly, Destiny 1 started the same way. It improved as time went on. So I'm expecting Destiny 2 to be more of the same. Are there things that could have been done better? Absolutely. But again, we're all in this together as far as Destiny goes. You know, the DLC, I love the DLC so far. The stuff they've added, the heroic strikes being brought back are really nice. They need to add modifiers to them though. That would be great. Make them actually heroic and different than the regular strikes. They have the Lost Prophecies now for the different Vex weapons you can make at the Forge once you finish the main story for the DLC. The game itself and the world of Destiny in general, it's a world full of the lore is fantastic, as you all know, and it does a good job of doing that with this recent DLC for Crucible Cyrus, giving you a bit of insight into Osiris and the Vex and their whole convoluted time travel thing that they have going on. But no, I'm still enjoying Destiny 2. It's really fun in my opinion. The shooting is still the high point of this game that Bungie's doing. So I'm expecting to see more of that as we continue into 2018, and looking forward to see how they improve the game into 2018 and beyond. And you know, I will keep y'all informed because again, I love Destiny. So yeah, that's right.
Yes, you do. I tease you about it all the time.
Yes, you do.
You know. But I don't really have anything else to say about Destiny 2.
It's all right.
Because I haven't.
Maybe one day you will.
Well, I mean, I played the trial or the beta, and I ripped
Yeah.
into it back when that was out in the podcast. But let's just say I wouldn't have put it on my list.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so we'll move along
Number
to
3,
number 3, and that's Super Mario Odyssey.
Yahoo. Sorry, that's my like Wario thing. Whatever.
Wait, that was. Wait, do that again?
Well, no, no. One time only. No. Hold on. Wait, no. Actually, I guess it'd be Luigi, because Luigi's like that. No. Yahoo.
Yeah, that's more of a Luigi.
Yeah, more Luigi. Yeah.
Yeah, because Wario, he's more like a wah.
Yeah. But we all
And-
know Waluigi is the best.
Yeah, I don't know why, but whenever I do that, I always have to like put my hands up in the air and then like thrust my wrist forward whenever I do Wario. And so it doesn't make sense because I'm on a podcast and you can't see that, but I do that every time.
You can't see it because of radio.
Yep. But yeah, back to
visualize.
the number 3 game,
Yes.
Super Mario Odyssey. I can't say enough good stuff about this, because it's a fresh take on Mario. It's what I wanted in a Mario game. You know, not that I don't love the 2D side-scrolling Marios. It's just that these are better. Like, you know, once Super Mario 64 opened my world up to a 3D platformer, it was like I can't go back. You know, even though the other Mario games are decently fun, they're just not as good, you know. So I played Mario Odyssey, and I played it to death. Just about. I completed everything I could. The cap mechanic is a great new addition. I kind of hope that if we ever get like an Odyssey 2 or something along that lines, that they'll keep the cap. They'll just make it so that told you it was late. But that when you put on a different color hat, that the enemies will change with that. I mean, this is kind of a small gripe. I think a lot of people would just be what's the word, picking or nitpicking.
Nitpicking.
Yeah, that I would be nitpicking here, but you know, when a game is this good, you kind of have to nitpick to even find any flaws.
Right, yeah.
And that's that, you know, when you put on a different color hat, a different design of hat, and you throw it on an enemy, it doesn't stay that color of hat. It switches back to the old Mario hat. So
Yeah, I
mean,
do wish that it kept whatever hat you had on. I've seen gameplay of that, and I'm like, it's a bummer.
Yeah, but the music in this, oh,
Fantastic.
yes, like I could continue to listen to the soundtrack if they even offered it. I don't even know if they do, but if they did, I could buy it, and it's just really good. Like there's a stage where you're up in like this botanical garden where they grow flowers and stuff, and the music in that is just, every time I hear it, it's just like, ooh, you know, another good addition to the Mario music.
Yeah, Mario's music. Oh my god, it's so good. Like every game has one song that's like really good, but all of it's fantastic.
I know.
Really good. They're in the studio murdering beats over there. I swear it's fantastic.
I know.
Killing it in the studio with these beats.
It's great. And you know, even the 2D sections too. Like they have you play certain sections where you go back and play as a 2D Mario. And just because they mixed it in, like I just said, I don't enjoy the 2D as much, but because they're mixing it in these small little stages and areas, it just comes off as refreshing and great. And as long as you're in the same set costume, he'll actually change to that sprite. Like he doesn't go to his standard sprite. Like
Right.
he has the white wedding suit. As long as you put on everything white there, like the wedding suit and the wedding hat, if he goes into these areas, he will change and he will have that white suit on in the pixelated form. It's just so good. I'm sorry. We can move on, but
No, you're okay. No, you're good. I was yawning.
oh, good.
Late.
But no, I mean, honestly, I was trying to be polite and say I can't say anything else. So please move on.
All right, fine. I'll move on to the number 2 game on the list, which is Horizon Zero Dawn. Okay, so from the moment I fired up this game and I met Aloy, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna love this game. And I was correct. This was my number 1 on my personal list. Because for numerous reasons, I'm a sucker for open world games, as many of you know by now at this point in the podcast. Witcher, Fallout, Skyrim, any of those kinds of games. Horizon Zero Dawn, from a company that had made a series I never cared about before in Killzone, to go and make a game like this threw me off guard. But even when they were first showing it, in trailers and everything for the first time, I was like, okay, I'm digging this. They got the whole, caveman style of not weaponry, but you know what I mean. It's simple, primitive enough. The world is so interesting. When you first go down into that cave with Aloy and she's wandering through, and you're seeing holographic projections of things. It just like I can't put it into words about how good it is, and how much it made me want to know what happened to cause us to go back, to the ways that they are in the game, in the wandering tribes and everything else. The game's gorgeous. The combat is really, really fun, and it takes a lot of things that I like, and it does it really well. One of the gripes that I do have though, is that all the side quests are pretty much like the same set of 3. It's like, hey, someone's lost, go find them. You'll use your tracking to find them, or it's like, oh, hey, there's this
Monster.
lost artifact or something. Yeah, go find it. The lost sector things, those are cool as those are really, really cool, man. I've only done one of those, but that's because I'm so busy exploring and looking around and stuff that I'm just like, oh, what is this? I get around to it later, and I never go back to it because I find something else to explore. But it's so much fun. Can't wait to play more of it. I'm still playing it. It's so much fun.
Yeah, and that's cool. And I think people who only have a PlayStation would probably agree with you that this is the greatest game ever.
One of them.
Yeah, but I gotta say that really, this is like a B-movie knockoff compared to the number 1 game of 2017.
Ooh,
Which
we're waiting
is,
with
yeah, drum roll please. The number 1 game of 2017, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Da, 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 da.
Hey, yeah. No. What can I say about this game that hasn't already been said?
A lot of things, I'm sure.
Well, probably anything bad, because this game is so good, you can't say anything bad about it. I mean, it won the Game Awards, the best game of 2017. It's probably the reason why the Nintendo Switch is selling so well. It has numerous game accolades, and its Metacritic rating right now is 97%. And
Wow.
yeah. And so yeah, like I had so much fun playing this game. In fact, I don't think I did anything but play this game for the month that I had it. When I first got it, like that was it. Like I think that's the reason why we didn't record any podcasts at that time.
I think that's why. Yeah, you were busy playing
Yeah.
Zelda.
I was busy playing The Legend of Zelda. Well, I mean, the world is so huge. Like, when you look at Horizon's world and you look at Breath of the Wild, this world, like, Horizons would be a little dot on the map for Breath of the Wild. Like, it's that big. And there's so much to do. You know, when I completed it, and I thought I had gone and done everything because I unlocked the entire map, and you know everything was viewable, and I had to do a lot of running around to get to the places where I could unlock the map.
Yeah.
And then I went and I beat Ganon. I guess it's like Phantom Ganon. I don't know what it's been a while, but it was Ganon. And when I beat him, it had said that I'd only completed 19%.
Whoa.
Yeah. So this game, it's huge. It's beautiful. The music is great. The characters are great. You know, there's a lot of detail in here. Like there's even a spot where there's a bridge, and there's a guy that kind of patrols the bridge, and if you jump up on the bridge, like on the side railing, and he's walking along, he'll try and talk you down from jumping off of the bridge. So I mean, it's so good. You know, as far as the weapon system too, like each weapon is breakable, so you have to continuously go grab weapons and steal them from your enemies and whatnot, because eventually your weapon will break and you can't use it. And that even applies to the Master Sword. Once you get the Master Sword, you can use it for so many hits, and then once that's depleted, it has to recharge. So it doesn't technically break, but you do have to give it a break, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say people would be really upset if you got the Master Sword, bro.
Yeah.
Pissed off people.
And I know that there were some people that didn't like that system, and I myself was kind of like, you know, I wish they just let me keep my weapon that I like and not have to go keep finding stuff. But I ended up watching a YouTube video where it kind of explained about the weapons and what it does and what Breath of the Wild is, and it made a lot of sense. And then for me, it's like, you know what, that makes sense. Like,
You had a ball moment, yeah.
yeah, you need the weapons to break so that you're continuously challenged, because if you get the greatest weapon and it's super great, then you get kind of like, well, I'm the greatest, so there's no need to continue, kind of.
Right.
You know, it continuously.
You get the Master Sword, it's like, oh, I'm done.
Yeah, it continuously gives you a challenge, though, to find better weapons and to just kind of explore, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and feel free to tell me how great of a game it is.
Well, I'm looking forward to playing it at some point. Maybe in 2018, maybe not. But I do want to get a Switch, or go over a friend's house and play it for myself at some point. Just to experience it.
I know. Well, this game, it's so good that I think eventually, if we ever can get ourselves to E3, I'll have to bring the Switch and bring Zelda. So at least E3, I hope, if we go there.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, that would be super awesome.
Oh yeah, one day, my friend, one day. But I think, yeah, that's our list for top 10 games of 2017.
Yeah.
It
Do
was
we want to do
different.
a
We had a
quick
little bit of
recap?
everything in there. Wait, what'd you say?
Did we want to do a quick recap?
Yeah, sure, we
Suppose
can.
we
Yeah. So number
probably
10,
should have done the
number
recap
10
before we announced the number one
Probably.
game.
Probably, but I'll run it down real quick. So number 10 was Picross S. Number 9 was MLB The Show 17. Number 8 was For Honor. Number 7 was Injustice 2. Number 6 was Ark Survival Evolved. Number 5 was Layton's Mystery Journey. 4 was Destiny 2. 3 was Super Mario Odyssey. 2 was Horizon Zero Dawn. And number 1 was Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I almost said Ocarina of Time. No.
Both great games.
We got them started. Oh no, quickly. No.
Yep.
No, but this again, this is our list, our combined list at that.
Right.
Even though I didn't play a lot of games this year, my individual list was still different from Ken's list. So if we had did our own separate top 10 lists, it would have been a longer time we spent here talking
Right.
about our games.
And Overwatch
So
would have
that's
been the
also
number
why
one game.
That's also why we do. I think that's also why we do it this way. And it
Yep.
also gives people a different. It also gives us a chance to, combine our lists and put our heads together, so to speak, and say, hey, what did you play? What did you play? Because we sometimes play similar games, so we don't want to
Right.
have our number 5 both be Madden, for example. So
Well-
that's why we do it this way.
I kind of like it too because it's more of a philosophy rather than just combining our list because we didn't have enough for a top 10 list. You
Yeah.
know, like because it's not R then R's list. It's R and R. Like
Right. Exactly.
we're like pumpkin pie and whipped cream.
We just go together.
Well, they're really good separately, but when you get them together, they're so much better.
Okay, fair enough. I can dig that. So, let's talk really quick about a few games we are looking forward to playing that we may have missed this year, and possibly playing them in 2018. Really quick, maybe like 3,
Yeah,
if you have 3.
I have 3. I actually wrote them down, but I'm just realizing I don't have that file, so I may be SOL. Let's find out.
All right. Well,
Yep,
while you're
I'm
doing that,
SOL.
Oh no!
I remember one of them.
All right. And what one is that?
Oh, well, that's one that you also wanted to play, which was Persona 5.
Yes, I really want to play Persona 5 so badly. I've never played a Persona game ever. But I've heard people talk about it. I've heard YouTubers talk about it. There's a YouTuber I watch, Mr. Matty Plays. I'm hoping I get him on here at some point. That'd be kind of cool. He was talking about it a lot. It's his game of the year. I'm really looking forward to playing that.
He doesn't own a Switch.
No, he does actually. So rip. But yeah, that's one that I'm also looking forward to playing. I have 2 others. If it'll buy you time, maybe I can go into my 2 others really quick.
Well, you can go on. I remember another one.
Oh, okay, yeah. Another one that I'm looking forward to playing that I missed is Nier Automata. Again, it's one of those games where I love platinum games as well, so I'm looking forward to playing it. There's so many different endings to the game because there's different stories. The first time you play it, second time, third and fourth one, and so forth. So, and from what I've seen of it, the combat looks like a lot of fun, and the music and everything else looks like something that I would really be into.
Right.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to playing that
Right,
as
and that
well.
that was actually a game that I had played, and it was on the list, but it just narrowly missed out, just because it a little repetitive. Like there's a lot of different kind of game modes in there, which I appreciate, but
Yeah.
it kind of got just a little repetitive as far as the combat goes. Like it felt like I was just hitting square, like just hit square to win, and so.
Mhm.
It just narrowly missed out because of that being on the list. But yeah, I mean it's I guess a decent game. Is what I'm
Fair
trying
enough.
to say. So
Fair enough.
you would be appreciated, or you wouldn't be looked down upon for buying it and playing it.
No, I would hope not.
Yeah. Um,
What What about you? What's another one you're looking forward
but
to?
yeah, so another one that I missed out that I wanted to play was ukulele.
Okay.
Sorry, they that's the song they did because it's Banjo Kazooie spiritual successor, and it looked really fun. I know it got some negative reviews on it, and it had some controversy because one of the voice actors um, said stuff that got him in trouble, and so they had to patch out his voice.
Wow. All
Yeah,
right.
which I actually went back or looked because it's on the disc. Like you can pop in the disc, and as long as you don't update it, his voice is still on there. And so this one guy's recorded it and showed the difference, and it was like you can't even tell it's his voice. So it's kind of like why? Like I realize he said bad stuff, but taking him out feels worse than him saying bad stuff. So I don't know, but that was a game that I was looking forward to because it's along the lines of like a Super Mario Odyssey, Banjo Kazooie style of game.
Yeah, I feel you. I again never played Banjo Kazooie because I didn't own the system. But anyway, yeah. But another game
That's
that I'm looking
surprising.
forward to.
Sorry,
You say not surprising or is
no,
surprising?
it is surprising because I was just thinking that uh, some of the stuff you've told me about not being able to play certain games, like it feels like that should have been the console with the games he was playing. But
Yeah, but it is what it is, man.
yeah,
Well, always more of a sports guy, always. But anyway, the other game that I missed out that I wanted to play, or that I'm hoping to play in 2018, is funny because I was just talking about this to a friend a few minutes ago before we started recording. Because I was showing her the list and everything, and she was like, "I'm disappointed that this game isn't on your list." And I was Resident Evil 7. Never got a chance to play it. I really wanted to play it, but
ugh.
I had too many. I had too many games that I had too many games that I was playing at the point in time, and there just wasn't enough time for me to play it. So I'm hoping that I can play that at some point in 2018. In addition to clearing some of my backlog still, like Deus Ex
Yeah.
and Dishonored.
I hate to
But
say that I've seen too much of that game.
I've actually watched the whole playthrough of it already, but
Well,
playing
all
it yourself is completely different.
um, all I've seen of it is the differences, or how the game was censored in Japan versus here in
Huh.
America, and it's just, ugh, it's disgusting. I'm sorry.
Wow. No, no, you're
Ugh.
good. You're good. I mean, the game itself, it's really, yeah, it's not up your alley at all, my friend.
No,
Not up your alley at all,
no,
at
thank
all. But
you.
I'm looking forward to playing it. I will turn my lights off, put the headphones on, and I will enjoy it.
For about 5 minutes, and then you'll turn the lights on and pull the headphones off, and
Not talking to
that's
nobody
enough
when
of
I
that
play
now.
that. Fair enough. Fair enough. But again, that was our list for 2017 and games that we missed wanting to play in 2018. So we want to know what was your favorite game of 2017. Let us know in the
Hmm.
comments, and we will read the answers next week. Well, not next week, because
Yep.
actually we're gonna take a break.
Right.
Yeah,
We, right. Well, we'll read them next week, but we won't read them on the air next week.
correct. Correct.
Yeah.
We won't be here.
But no, we'll definitely tally up
Well,
and the top three games for the Joystick Forums games of 2017.
yeah, yep. We'll definitely do that. We'll definitely
Hmm.
do that. That'll be fun. That'll be fun. So yeah, that's what we'll do. Yeah, again, we're gonna take a break for the rest of Christmas and New Year's. We'll be back after then. I have some things that I have to do after New Year's, like going to MagFest.
Yeah, you
So
have to put
once
some
that's
things
over,
down on paper.
yeah, yeah. So once those things are done, we'll be back. But I mean, there will be things happening, um, despite the break, because we have things we need to take care of as far as the podcast goes. We have to get the older episodes up onto Castbox, so there will still be episodes you can listen to. If you haven't listened to the episodes from the beginning, you can go back and listen to episodes one through. 26 because we'll be putting them up on Castbox once throughout the course of the break.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And we also, not to say too much because we want it to be a surprise, but we also have some changes coming when we return. And I would say about 3 to 4 weeks, we should be back with another episode. But we got some changes in store, and I think they'll be a little more streamlined and enjoyable. Not to say that we're not enjoyable now, because we totally are.
But it'll help. Right, yeah, I think so. You're wrong if you disagree, but but yeah, I mean, it's gonna the changes will be interesting. We're really looking forward to hearing the feedback once we make these changes, and seeing how you guys react to the season 2 of R&R. But before we get to that, again, this break is gonna happen. We're gonna take the time to enjoy the holidays and New Year with our families and loved ones and all that business, and you should do the same as well. But I think we're done officially.
Yeah.
For 2017, we're done?
I wouldn't say officially, but we are done for 2017.
And we are here for 2017.
Old acquaintance we forgot.
Thank you all so much for joining us for episode 26 of the R&R Gaming Podcast. We are part of the Joystick Entertainment Network. Before we get out of here, Ken, round of plugs?
Yeah. Sorry, I giggled to myself because I'm a child every time you say that. But
okay, I'm an adult too.
You can find the podcast on Twitter at R&R Gaming Pod. That's RANDR Gaming POD. You can find me personally on Twitter at MacroBov. That's MacRobov. You can find Joystick on Twitter as well at JoystickENT. That's JoyStikENT. And you can find my good friend Byron on Twitter at
Bron1417. That's capital BRON 1417. You can find me on Twitch streaming whenever I feel like it these days. Holidays are rough, with work and all that, so I haven't had a chance to stream. I'm still trying to find time to stream Life is Strange. Really want to do it before the storm. Anyway, you can find me on Twitch at B_Ron1417. That's B_Ron1417. You can find the podcast on YouTube and Castbox at you type in R&R Gaming Podcast and you should find it. It's kind of there. It's really easy. On YouTube, hit that bell, subscribe to get all the notifications when we go live and stay up to date on that. Castbox, subscribe over there. You'll get the audio version of the podcast, and again on YouTube, video version of the podcast where there's pictures and all that other cool stuff. And I think that's actually it as far as plugs go, because I got everything in there. 2017 is coming to a close, but come back in 2018 for more of this. Ken, tell them why.
Yes, come back in 2018 because everyone could use a little more R&R. about that day?
Yeah. One day.
Oh yeah. The day that it rained?
Yes.
Sorry. Only people who had a Dreamcast would know what I'm talking about.